What is up, you guys? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Devin and I'm a full-time videographer and photographer, and I've spent a good amount of time here recently talking about video comparisons and tutorials on the Mavic Air 2, but today I wanted to switch it up a little bit and talk about taking photos on the Mavic Air 2. So to cover some of the highlights, this drone will shoot 12 megapixel stills. It also shoots 48 megapixel stills, which is just insane for this little drone. It shoots raw photos in a DNG file format, which is awesome, and it does shoot DNG in 48 megapixels, which I've seen some people around the web commenting, oh, it won't shoot 48 megapixels in RAW, but it does, and I think it looks awesome. So huge thumbs up for that. It also has smart photo modes and features, which, to be honest, I haven't used too much so far. I do plan on giving them a test. It has auto exposure bracketing, burst modes, timed photos where it actually takes photos at whatever interval you set it at. This will be awesome for doing time lapses more manually than some of the built-in features. It also has some awesome panoramic photo features. But for this video, I just wanted to share some quick tips on how to get the most out of your Mavic Air 2 when it comes to photography. So let's get started. It does do a pretty good job shooting in auto, but if you want the most control over the outcome of your photos, then I suggest shooting in manual. And luckily on this drone, it's pretty simple to shoot manually because it does have a fixed aperture, which means you don't have to worry about setting your aperture and figuring that out. So that's one less piece of the exposure triangle and puzzle that you have to figure out. So all you really need to worry about is setting your shutter speed, your ISO, and your white balance, which honestly, it does a great job at shooting auto white balance as well, but it doesn't hurt to go ahead and set your white balance. I also suggest shooting in both the JPEG and RAW or DNG file versus only JPEGs, which I'll show you why in just a little bit. Setting the shutter speed on your Mavic Air 2 when it comes to photography can be used not only as light control, but also as a motion control. And what I mean by that is the higher your shutter speed, the less amount of light is going to come into the sensor, which can help you set the correct exposure or make your exposure really dark or really light, just depending on your shutter speed. And it will determine how much of the photo is frozen or allowing motion blur to move throughout your frame. So the higher the shutter speed, the less time light will have to hit the sensor, meaning a darker image and freezing the action. But if you have a lower shutter speed number, you'll let in more light, but it also allows for more movement in the frame, which can create motion blur depending on what you're shooting. So if you're shooting landscapes or distant objects, your shutter speed can be fairly low. Like in this photo, it's at 100, and you can still get a crisp image. You have to account for what you're shooting as well as the drone's movement. And even if the drone is sitting still, it still has some slight movement, which could cause motion blur and create soft looking images. If you're shooting action, you'll most likely want a faster shutter speed to stop or freeze the motion or the action. Now, you can also get creative with ND filters, and you can purposely create motion blur in different situations. I tried some in this photo, and it actually turned out pretty cool, but I want to practice a little bit more and then hopefully share some tips with you guys on how to get this effect. Now, ISO is easy. Basically, you just want to keep this as low as possible. So if you have plenty of light, keep it as close to or on 100. You could maybe get away with 200, 300, and 400, but if you want the best quality out of your drone and the least amount of digital noise, definitely try to keep your ISO as low as possible. Next is white balance. You basically just want to set this accordingly to your environment. So if you're shooting on a sunny day, set it to 5600, but honestly for photos, it does a really good job just keeping it on auto white balance. Next, I would suggest to always shoot in the JPEG plus RAW DNG file format. So if the image looks awesome right off the camera, that's great. Now you've got a sweet photo to share, but if you want to do some editing, you've got a DNG file that will retain the most quality and give you the most flexibility when it comes to editing your photo. From what I've found, all of these photo tips should work for any of the photo modes that allow you to shoot manually. And just like anything else, it will take some practice and getting to know how the camera and drone respond to your settings. So be patient and have fun. I hope this video is helpful to you guys if you're looking to get started with photos on your Mavic Air 2, or if you just needed some fresh perspective. I hope to continue to share more photo tips with you guys. So if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. And if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in another video.